Did you announce them?
Hey, welcome everyone to the finals of the StarCraft 2 AI 2025 tournaments. I am here once again joined by Laughing Games. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
And of course, Ketrock. Welcome again. Great to have you.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah. And we took a week off last week, and it was after some quite exciting semi-finals. I think we needed 2 weeks to recover from that, so that was good. Um, let's just take a brief look at where we are in our tournament. And yes, it is going to be Negativezero versus Xena, both coming through 3-2 in their semi-finals. So that's going to be the second match up tonight. But first up, we have a third place match between Zozo and Eris. So yeah, both are going to be fun matches.
Yeah, definitely. Like it is a bit unfortunate that Negativezero and Eris met in the not in the finals, but like Zozo and Eris is going to be a very fun match, and then Xena and Negativezero is just going to be wild. So
yeah, you can never tell what's going to happen in a match with Zozo and Negativezero because obviously Zozo being a random bot, it could be anything. You know, I mean, he could get lucky and win 3 games in a row, or he could get unlucky and lose 3 games in a row. We just don't know.
yeah, yeah, I think that can probably be said about both the matches we have tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a fun
Yeah,
one.
Zozo's been like Eris has been vulnerable to cheese in the past, I think, and Zozo is one of the best cheese bots. So
Yeah.
I'm sure any cheese that the authors of Eris know about is handled, but maybe something new will show up from Zozo's repertoire, and that might be too much for Eris
Yeah.
to beat.
Yeah, one thing you
And
can
then yeah,
always
Xena's always an interesting bot. Let's see if Xena can actually do the work it needs to beat the almost unbeatable Negativezero.
one thing you can always guarantee with Zozo is lots of creativity.
Yeah.
I think that's what we call it still, isn't it?
Creativity.
Yeah. All right. So let's just take a look at the bots in our first match. First up is Eris, obviously. Oh, 1 second. We might need to readjust that. There we go. First seed got knocked out 3-2 in the semi-finals by Negativezero. And what a match that was. It's probably one of the best series I think we've ever had in our tournaments, which was really good. Up until that point, though, Xena was completely unbeaten, although we have to say hasn't faced Zozo yet, so still could be vulnerable.
Yeah, Eris had a perfect record going into that game, that match. So
yeah,
it takes about like Negativezero to take some wins off of Eris. Not many people can take wins off Eris.
Definitely.
It really does.
Zozo might be one of them as well, though.
Yep. And obviously, the opponent, Zozo by Sam Orgon, seeded 6th coming into the tournament and into our top 2. Lost to Xena in the group stage, but came back and won all the series. And then obviously took a semi-final defeat to Xena in the semi-final. Again, a 3-2. I mean, like, it was a bit of a I choose you, you choose me kind of game, wasn't it? But exciting nonetheless.
Yeah. The series versus Sharkbot was actually one of my favorite series of this tournament. It was like the mind games going back and forth. You could tell they were blind countering what they thought the other person was doing and then blind countering the blind counter and so on and so forth. It was great.
It was a lot of fun. All right, let's get into it with our first game, I guess.
All right.
And we are live.
Okay, spawning on the left-hand side of the map, we do have the red Zerg Eris, the former #1 bot in the ladder, I want to say. I think he's been surpassed by Negativezero now, of late. And
Yes.
yeah, spawning on the right-hand side, we have the Cheese Master himself, the Blue Protoss Zozo. So often when you think of cheese, you think of like, you know, lower to mid-ranked bots, but Zozo's like consistently made, you know, Final Four in tournaments, so
Yeah,
very powerful in his cheese.
Yeah, and it was just one game away from making it to the finals. So
Yeah.
it was very, very close. And Sozo is really fun to watch. Ever since you pointed it out, how good its worker micro is, I've really looked at that. Like when it's on the defensive sort of thing, like it's incredibly good with the probe fighting. So
Yeah, I love to see him fight Zerglings and stuff because he just absolutely
Mhm.
slaughters them, and then we get to see, you know, a taste of what Zozo used to be. Because originally he was just a pro brush bot, and an
Yeah.
annoyingly good pro brush bot. He was smashing everyone on the ladder. But
And
he's
how about this cheese, eh? Like it's going for one gateway at home, one gateway out on the map.
that is interesting.
Yeah,
So now
that's
going for
not
the
like
full flower this time, and he's taking the gas as
uh-huh.
well. I think if I can see that right on the mini map. So it's not going to be just pure zealots either.
You are right. Now, Eris has found this. Looks like drones are getting pulled to attack that pylon. We do get a second pylon started, so really great programming by the bot off to just have redundancy there in
Yeah.
case drones are pulled against it. So that almost seems like a hard counter, because Eris is pretty consistent with its scouting and its drone pulls to shut this kind of cheese down, but now it's just losing mining time on these drones, and it's not really going to amount to much.
Yeah, this
Now,
is literally just losing income because this is not going to do much. He's going to get a pylon kill out of it, probably. And it looks like he's waiting for a stalker or a depth
yeah,
tech,
it's
so I think
weird.
he'll definitely get the one kill. But I don't think
No
that's worth having
Cybercore,
3 to 4
though.
workers off the line. Yeah.
There's no Cybercore been started. No Zealots have been started by Zozo.
Uh-oh.
And yet it's mining gas. So we may have a fatal flaw in the Protoss bot here. It throws up a
Yeah.
Nexus?
He may have
That's
tried to
very
bring something new, and obviously you don't want to test it on ladder because then you might be giving it away. But if you don't
Yeah.
test it on ladder, you may not...
Okay, we do get a Cybercore just very, very late. And then the Nexus behind this. So that is a very, very weird way to go about this. Fortunately, Eris does just have the few drones down here, and it's not actually making lings right now. Like, it's just gone into a roach warren and invested in a spine crawler, whereas these gateways are totally vulnerable as they're not producing anything. So that's quite bizarre. Zozo loses one pylon, decides to build another one, so it seems to want to have at least 2 pylons by these gateways, which is cool. Now we have stalkers starting to produce.
Yeah. So, you know, obviously versus a human opponent, what Zozo's doing is ridiculous. But if you look at the state of the game, this could just all be a bait. It's a really weird bait, but if it forces your opponent to stay on one base, build a spine, roaches, and never actually take his natural,
Oh yeah.
then this is huge, right? He's getting up 2 bases to 1.
Yeah, it's a great play. Like, as a bot author, it's not easy to program responses to cheeses. So you have to do what works most of the time, and a lot of bot authors, they have to make a sacrifice by overreacting to cheeses a little bit, and that's kind of what we're seeing here from Eris. There's no easy way to be like, oh, is this actually a real cheese, or is my opponent just macroing behind this? It's not an easy thing to respond to. So yeah, Eris just getting up its natural now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a response of like, okay, there's 3 gateways outside of my base. I'm just playing defensive. But he didn't take it further than that. It's like, is that something you really want to code for? Is like, should I check to see if the gateways are even active? You know, because
Yeah, it's
that's something that is the API does tell you, but like as an author, I wouldn't even think to go that far. It's like the proxy outside my base, of course he's being offensive, but no, he's not. This pylon going down will depower all 3 gateways, so these stalkers do get little hits here and there. I
Yeah,
think
there
maybe when the
is.
next one comes out, he'll kill it off the drone.
Yeah, it is kind of funny how Zozo
There it goes. Okay.
ignores that drone for a while, but does eventually handle that. Eris has got burrow, so it's actually starting to block expansions, so Zozo may not be able to get a 3rd easily. Just, yeah, economically, Zozo is in a phenomenal position. Like, look at Eris's bank. It's so short on larva.
Yeah. I know in the past when Zozo does transition, he likes to go for like a Stalker Immortal push. So I'm guessing that's
Yeah.
probably what he's transitioning into here as I see the Robo going up. Yeah, keeping those 3 gateways powered is actually quite a big deal. I like to see those lings go over there and work on them, and that's what's going to happen here. Nope,
Oh,
just getting the
no.
probe. Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
Eris.
the only thing that might slow Zozo down is losing his production. His economy
Mhm.
is just kicking in so well.
Yeah, well, it's notable that Zozo doesn't use Warp Gate either, so it does just have to walk the stalkers across the map back home from those
Yep.
3 gateways. So
And
that's a
getting
bit of a
punished there as one of them gets easily surrounded, not even killing off a single Zergling.
Yeah, now there is a lot of stalkers out for Zozo. It's got a nice army size and just really good production, like not floating really any money, just spending it as quick as it gets it, which is very important. And Eris is still suffering from that delayed second base. It's now just getting up at third base. However, if Zozo moves out, it's going to be a very difficult defense for Eris.
Yeah, I mean, even the order of lings and drones was way off. So he built a lot of lings before he started getting that drone count up. So it's not just a delayed expansion, but the lower drone count. And now it's the point
Yeah.
where he really needs to be pumping units, but it may be too late. Especially with the War Prism there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what sort of dancing he's able to do with the Prism Micro, but this could be trouble. Lings are good versus Stalkers, though, so we'll see.
Yeah, you are right. Eris might just not have the production at this point. Could we get the units tab to see how many lings there is presently? Okay, 44 lings against 17 stalkers. Yeah, that's not the best. Not the best ratio. Eris will lose its third base first, so... And it's actually going to try and save this, so it does just commit on top of the stalkers. Zozo has the Prism, picking up some of the injured ones, dropping them back down. So getting really good efficiency fighting these lings, and all those lings are starting to disappear. But they are getting
not
a few
bad,
of the
though.
stalkers.
Yeah, he is. And more lings coming in, but three more Stalkers coming to join the fight, however. It's really tough
Yeah.
to say. Like, Zozo is going to win the fight, but he did take a decent amount of damage, so I don't think it's like said and done or anything as of yet. Let's see
Eris
what happens
does
once.
defend the third for now. Yeah, we'll see if Zozo counter pushes or, well, pushes again. 7 lings, or 7 stalkers for 65 lings.
Yeah, and that Prism's only going to be for juggling. He can't use it to warp in, because I don't believe he's even researched Warp Gate, so...
No, Zozo does not use Warp Gate. The bot author probably dislikes because I point that out every single game. But, yes, we do have Zozo doing some very good micro on the stalkers, fanning out as the lings are pursuing. And
yeah, terrific micro there with the Prisms. Keeps saving Stalker after Stalker after Stalker. I keep noticing these Stalkers getting fully surrounded and then whoop, picked up.
Yeah, the bot author of Zozo was talking about their Prism micro in the Discord the other day. Just a shout out to anyone watching who's not in the AI Arena Discord. You can check that out. And there's lots of helpful people there.
That was an unbelievably good fight for Zozo. The micro was so good, I think every Stalker is like deep in the orange or even the red, but none of them ended up dying, or very few died at least.
Yeah, Eris is squeezing out Hydras, it's squeezing out Lings. It does have another base at the other third base location. Just there's so much Protoss here. Eris will need a miracle to hang on. It's only on 29 drones.
Yeah,
What a build order by Zozo, just to hard counter Eris.
Yeah, completely insane, but it definitely worked against how Eris responds. So. Yeah, and that should do it. I mean, Hydra's are out now, and Hydraling is really good against Stalkers, but just the numbers, too much.
Yeah.
Especially with the micro, like, maybe you can get a kill here and there, but with the Prism micro, you're probably not going to get that.
Yeah, really, really well done by Zozo here. Just an incredible read. Well, an incredible decision against Eris, which is a bot that's usually pretty infallible to cheese. The way to cheese it may just be not actually committing to the cheese. So
yeah, I don't think that's like a response to getting scouted or anything. I think that's like he looked at how Eris like responds to cheese on ladder, and he's like, how can I beat that? He's like, I know, I'll fake the cheese and then throw down a Nexus immediately before even building a Zealot or a Stalker.
Yeah, that's it's obviously a pre-planned situation there from Zozo. We did warn you that he would have something planned. I wasn't sure it was that, but you know, it was very well played there.
It's not like a basic 12 pool from this guy, man. He'll come at you with he'll find your weaknesses.
He'll come with all sorts of cheese.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing you got to do against a bot as good as Eris. So, well done. Yeah, I'm curious to see if we get a change up from Zozo or a change up from Eris in game number 2.
Yep. All
Yep.
right.
I would expect the authors of like I expect Rasper thinks that he probably expected that he might be getting crushed by something new out of Zozo. So I think Eris probably has other builds that would be brought just in case of that scenario.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's take a look.
Okay, spawning down in the bottom right this time, down 1-0. It is the red Zerg Eris. And up 1-0, looking to take that to third place victory. It is the blue Protoss Zozo. And I just saw the tag there, 2-base Muta. Yeah, so we are seeing something different out of Eris.
Yeah.
That's what I like. You don't know what Zozo's going to bring, but you know it might be good and it might kill you. So you want to have you don't want to just play your basic macro game every time against a bot like this.
That's true, but like 2-base Muta opens up the same way Eris did. So if Zozo goes for the same thing here, it could be problematic. However, Zozo has like 350 minerals in the bank, so there's something coming here. It's either going to be a Nexus first or like a ton of gateways and pylons.
Pylon in the base. Interesting.
One pylon, lots of drones getting pulled. A second pylon, third pylon. I don't know what this building placement is, but Zozo is really going for it here as Eris pulls drones off the mineral line, cutting into its mining. Zozo
There's room
has
for a
second
gateway
probe.
in there. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, 2 gates, 3 gates. 3 gateways getting up. Drones are still working on some of the pylons. And the spawning pool just goes down now for Eris.
Okay, fourth gateway. So it's not the same build as last time. We have no gas at home. So I think this will be a committed push to go into mass zealots.
this is as committed as in your face as it possibly can be for Eris. The Zerg bot is just fighting with a few drones, trying to get the pylons once again, but it's just not quick enough. And I imagine Zozo will probably throw down another pylon here soon. Probably when that one in the red dies, I imagine.
Yeah, that will depower one of the gateways actually. Also, is it a supply block? That's a supply block as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal, and no extra pylon has been thrown down by Zozo. There we go. It queues up another one, finally. And the first Zealot is out, soon to be a second and a third, so Eris is going to need some very good drone micro against this. We do have Spine Crawlers going up for the Zerg, and a Roach Horn, but no Lings fired up. So it's just going to be drones and eventually Spines to try and defend this, but so many of those drones are taking tons of damage already. There's a lot in the red here.
Yeah, they are microing very well, but they're microing against 3 zealots, which is a lot of firepower. Like, I could see them, like, dominating one zealot with that micro, but...
Oh, man. Eris is now down to 6 workers already. There is the 2 Spine Crawlers done. However, it's a 1-base Zerg. Eris is also mining gas, but then pulls out of that, so that's good to see that it adjusts that, as it doesn't really need any more gas.
Yeah, and the zealot numbers are getting larger here.
Yeah.
Probe's trying to get in to add power to that pylon, but they're not going to be able to with the position of the spines. I did question the spine position, but it does deny the repowering of the 4th gateway, which is going to be a big deal because Zozo is going to start floating minerals. You can't spend all your money on 3 gateways, even with Chrono Boost.
This, the spine placement is kind of funny if you think about it, because like it's very much for if the gateways were outside of the main base, but they're just inside the main base here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just gonna be no drones left for Eris.
Yeah, that's
2
gonna be it.
spines cannot kill all these zealots. Well done by Zozo with another dirty cheese.
He got the Roach Worm done, but unfortunately, having lost all of his drones in the first fight, all he was able to do between the first and second battle was just rebuild some drones. He could have stayed on low drone count and built like 2 or 3 roaches, I guess, but that would probably just delay the inevitable as well. Well, 2-0 Zozo. Not many people saw that, I bet.
Yeah, really well played there for Zozo. Again, like the first one he got 4 gateways and then didn't use any of them, and then last time it's like, right, okay, Eris is like thinking, don't worry, he's not going to use them this time, and it's like, nope, nope, zealots are going to come straight at you, boys. So yeah, no, that was really well done. Yeah. Anyway, so let's see if Zozo can pull out a 3-0 over Eris, which I don't think anyone really saw coming.
No, I certainly didn't.
Yeah. Right, I will share my screen with you guys.
One of those matchups where you could have predicted 3-0, but you wouldn't even be able to say which player
Which
would
one,
3-0
yeah.
the other one. Yeah. It all
Absolutely.
depends if Zozo stuff works or not. Because in a long game, he's obviously going to get crushed by Eris. Although Zozo is working on his macro play, on ladder at least. That's slow improvements there.
Yeah, both these bot authors are quite active. Zozo seems to be willing to go, well, the author of Zozo definitely seems to be willing to go the extra mile, though, to come out with snipes.
Yeah, I mean, like, sniping is, it's effective in the moment, we'll say. It's always nice to make snipes that you can use, like, in more than one case.
Yeah.
And obviously bringing a macro game can just help Zozo's cheese as well. Because, like, you know, if you can't just blindly defend cheese, like against Zozo, if that puts you too far behind against his macro play, then obviously that'll give him other advantages. But, like, at the moment right now, you could probably just blindly open one base, and that'll always be a good thing against Zozo.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Which is why for Eris, like, the 2-base Muta plan was kind of questionable, because by the time you get Mutas out, you're just going to be dead against a lot of cheese.
Yeah. I like that it was different. I didn't want to see a repeat of game 1, although maybe if he did do the same strategy, it would have worked, because Zozo switched it up in game 2. The Roach Horn's always a questionable decision on if you're trying to defend Proxy Gate. It's like, yeah, you usually want roaches, but you have to be able to get that far without dying, right? Sometimes just lings and queens and spines is the way to go.
Yeah, those early cheeses do hit
Yeah.
too quick for roaches, that's for sure. And we do just have a normal macro game coming out of Zozo so far. It just does go for a 1-gate expand. And that allows Eris to also macro.
Yeah. Eris is not blind countering Zozo, so, you know, scouting around, not seeing any proxies. Eris is happy to just continue with its normal play.
May we get you to press Control M to turn on the music, Crypt? Oh, apparently it was on, but I couldn't hear it. Anyway. You can check continuous music too, but it's not a big deal. Okay.
All right, so both bots just grinding up the workers. First Stalker is on the field, as is the first shield battery.
Yeah, like, we can probably assume Zozo is going to go for another one of those stalker-based timings, because that's what most of its longer macro games look like. Using the stalkers, using the prism, that kind of thing. Does tech into Tempest these days occasionally, which could be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, Stalkers are typically not that good versus the heavy ling play of Eris, but Eris sometimes likes to go into the Burrow Roaches as well, where Stalkers will fare better. And then obviously the Stalkers are much stronger than typical, because Zozo's brought the War Prism Micro to them as well. Third base about halfway done for Eris. I'm going to suspect this will be a 2-base timing. I know Zozo's made good strides in its macro game, but you probably don't want to really be pushing for like a split map scenario or something against one of the best spots in the ladder.
No, probably not. Like, Eris is super good against these timing attacks. Like, I believe it definitely does. Like, we saw the chat tag there. Eris versus Mass Stalkers, so it's already got an idea of what's coming, so it may just stay on Lings to defend against those stalkers, as that's what works, so.
Yeah, it actually looks like Zozo's trying to expand. He keeps sending a probe up towards the his third base. But then retreats when sees the Zergling, and then the stalkers won't clear out the Zergling. They'll like help try to protect the. Oh, and it looks like Post trying to take a different third now, heading up to the 1230 position. And yeah, no, just scouting. Okay,
Huh.
I'm not sure what that probe is up to.
Well, now it's gonna die to a single Zergling, which is unfortunate. And yeah, this is looking a little bit concerning here for Zozo, just as we do have Eris producing a ton of Lings, which is exactly what it needs in order to shut down Stalkers. The Prism could change things depending on how good the micro is, like whether Zozo pushes Eris in the right spot so that Eris is maybe in like an attack retreat sort of situation, doing that over and over again, but I'm not sure we're gonna see that, as we do have Zozo just pushing on in. It does grab 2 queens right out the gate, which is a very good start.
Yeah, Queen's staying in range with the Lings like holding back, so all the queens actually going down on their own. It's not great. Here comes
Eris
the flood in, getting the
does
surrounds,
trigger.
but yet again, really good Prism Micro, picking them up once they get surrounded.
Yeah, this is actually not looking half bad for Zozo. Injured Stalker gets picked up. That's where the Protoss gets efficiency. Then as the Stalker number grows, there's just more HP that Eris has to eat through. And yeah, drones are also not mining because they're trying to transfer from the natural to the third and just burrowing to stay alive, which is good, but they're still not mining, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it is 5 base on 2, so this attack needs to work eventually, but so far so good.
Yeah. Eris does come in kind of from behind. Gets a couple stalkers.
Mortal joins the fight. That's not going to be much better than a Stalker, though, when you're facing Mass Zergling.
No. Like Cap Best, it just adds in a bit more HP to get eaten through. That Prism is shuffling some of these units back, although there is quite a few getting caught in that corner. Will the Immortal be saved? No, it will not. So that's quite unfortunate.
I think the Prism is trying to stay out of Hydra range, so it's made it difficult for it to pick up the units it needed to pick up.
Yeah, like it's trying to split the distance between the Stalkers in the front and the back as well, so it's maybe not getting in range of the units that really are in danger here. And another Stalker does get saved at the last second, but then dropped down and dies. Still though, Zozo trying to push. Eris's supply isn't actually that high. It's 41 to 34 right now.
Yeah, Eris switching back to droning, though. I think he knows he has the numbers to win this fight if he wants to take it. But once again, losing queens, which isn't great.
Okay, Lings are moving forward. Zozo's army is rather split up, so that Prism cannot save all these Stalkers, and now it's just being pushed around, forced away from Eris's third base. Very cool to see as well that the drones of Eris didn't actually burrow there when the Stalkers got near. That's pretty good programming, I think, because like if there wasn't any of Eris's units there, I think those drones probably would have burrowed. But the bot authors don't have excessive like worker hiding, which is really good. Maybe I'm overanalyzing that, but that was something I was looking for there as the Stalkers ran up to that base. Now, still a constant push by Zozo, just hanging out on creep as the Prism keeps shuffling these Stalkers around.
Yeah, I'm like just like enthralled by this War Prism. I can't stop staring at it. It's like whether it's screwing up or whether it's doing good things, and it's like hypnotic. Yeah, I think the addition of the
really
Hydras certainly helped a lot. Plenty of tanking with the Zerglings and the wraparound, but then the Stargate transition was interesting as well. I'm not sure if it works against this composition, but it is nice to see like some pretty involved Phoenix micro there. It's able to pick up Unix and gun them down with the other Phoenixes.
Okay, Stalkers are coming in, hitting a base of Eris pretty hard. Hydra pops out, will die. Lings are coming on in. Army supplies are still relatively close from one another. Does Zozo have +1 attack, by the way. Yeah, it does actually have +1, so that's definitely helping it out in these fights a little bit. Reinforcements still streaming across the map, but like Zozo needs to get some damage done to Eris, if not just win this game, because Eris is on 93 workers right now.
Yeah, but I mean, 66 isn't bad. He does have his third base of his own. So, like, yeah, if he loses an overwhelming fight, it's the end of the game. But as long as he keeps the pressure on like this, I think it's okay to be down in bases.
Yeah, it just needs
To
to keep taking alright fights, but that right there was not the best fight, and Zozo actually elects to go home now.
Yeah, might be distracted by, I saw some red in the base there. Overseer or something.
Yeah, pooling its units up, ready to go for another attack. This is going to be a very important fight. It does catch some Hydras out on the map, which is really nice. Phoenix are lifting those up, killing the Changelings as they run forward. The Queen also off creep, going to get caught. Phoenix lifted up. Like, there's a lot of pressure on Zozo here to bring down Eris before it gets to that, like, death ball of 200 supply. So, we are seeing the Protoss go on to creep once more. Lings are coming forward. The Protoss does micro those Stalkers back very well, though. Picking up the ones that are surrounded with the Prism is really nice. Hydras do target down the Phoenix, which, I mean, it's better the Phoenix die than the Stalkers, I suppose. However, the Protoss really is getting pushed back right now. And there's a Fungal as well.
Yeah, Fungal's a big deal. You can't pick up units that are fungaled, so that's one of the great benefits of that spell, actually. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Stargates. I feel like just the Stalker count never really got large. Like, you had a nice economy in the early game, but just the Stalker count never got beyond, say, like 12 to 15, and like that hurt him. Maybe without the Stargate, if he just kept spamming out more Stalkers and using that Prism micro, it would have been better.
Yeah, maybe. Like, yeah, I don't mind like the one Phoenix to chase down Overseers or whatever, but it's not really a focus that Zozo, I think, needs in a situation like this. And it's hard to criticize or say what Zozo should do better, because it's been doing very well making Stalkers against Lings, but it's still Stalkers against Lings. So it's
yeah. I mean, obviously, it's one of those things. Like, if your numbers are large enough, just the grouping and the massed range attacks of Stalkers can overwhelm Lings. But in lower numbers, you get surrounded and you're outgunned. All right, shield battery and probes. Die. Oh, the probes all got fungal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so stacking them and mineral locking is great until there's fungal. You went 2 base Muta, those Phoenix would have been amazing. I mean, but this game.
Really, really well done by Eris, showing us that it's really strong against mid-game timings, and that if Zozo wants to win this series, it may need another early game cheese or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We may be going for a long series in this one, I feel. Well,
I'm still a little confused why the Stalker count was so low earlier on.
yeah.
Because the fights just seemed to be going well. I felt like the Stalker count should have been growing, but it was just diminishing. Like, no new Stalkers are getting added in during that first battle.
I don't know.
Running for like a few minutes.
Yeah, there were a few Phoenixes out on the map, but like they shouldn't have really affected it that much, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's have a look at the next game. With Eris looking to do the reverse sweep.
It's possible. I'm wondering if like the author of Zozo was like, okay, cheese the first 2 games, try and macro the third, and then maybe back to cheese. Who knows?
Yeah.
If that works, we'll go back to cheese. Yeah. All right.
There certainly doesn't seem to be the concept of sticking with what works. Zozo, whether he wins or loses, is bringing up something new every match, which is fun.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so spawning down the bottom right, once again, as red, it is Eris. And Zozo, spawning the top left, will be the blue Protoss, still up 2-1. Probe is heading across the map, so back to Old Faithful for Zozo here.
I'm here for it. It's always entertaining to watch Zozo. And Yeah, just before this cheese does kick off, ladies and gentlemen, click the follow button on the Twitch if you haven't, like the YouTube stream, and join the AI Arena Discord if you want to get more info on programming bots.
Absolutely. Is that pylon actually unscouted still?
Maybe, yeah.
It is, okay. So hatchery's still on the way, and you never know, this might be good for Eris because Zozo has done a fake proxy before. We may just be seeing that again. But I think we're seeing the full flower this time. There's no gas on the way. Yeah.
Okay, 3
Gateway
gates,
flower.
4 gates.
Yeah, so that's not good for Eris because he's going to end up finishing that hatchery at the natural. At this
It's
point, I don't even think
spring.
you want to cancel it. You probably want to keep it up just as a distraction.
Yeah, I agree, because one base Zerg is just horrible in most situations.
Yeah.
Like, you need the larva so bad. Oh, Eris does actually cancel that hatch last moment, though. So now it's going to have to pull some magic to not only just defend this and stay alive, but also shut it down. As, oh, it's pulling the drones against the pylon that it cannot get to here. So
Oh,
the
but it
drones do
recognizes
go
couldn't
home.
get there and goes back home.
Yeah.
That's actually good.
Yeah, that is good. One drone working away on the one other exposed pylon. Eris will be able to produce some lings here.
Yeah,
But
I
it
mean,
just
he's
goes
got
into a
600
roach
minerals,
horn.
so he should be able to throw down spines, get queens. No queen on the production tab is a little not great.
Yeah, and okay, drones are going to try and buffer, but it's just building one spine. It's got 600 minerals in the bank. It's got larva, but it's not making any lings.
Yeah, and no queens either, even though queens doesn't even take the larva.
Yeah,
So
will it
must be
take...
saving up for the roaches, I guess. if he
Yeah,
can get
it
there.
really, really is. Okay, it wants burrow, that's the thing. So now it's got the gas for burrow. Spinecrawler does finish up. Drones are doing a great job microing. They take damage, and then they
Yeah.
pull back.
But there's
Not
no
that
drones
many
with
have
hit points
died.
left, so except for the
It's
gas
true,
ones, I
what-
don't think he pulls those.
Okay, is there roaches on the way? A single roach is on the way now for Eris. It fires up 2 drones.
Yeah,
Instead
he wants to
of a
replace the
third
drones
roach.
lost.
And this roach has got a lot of work cut out for it. It can micro and creep pretty good against the zealots, but like unless Eris squeezes out like another roach or 2 here, it's just dead, I think.
Yeah.
And wow, this is looking like a 3-1 here for Zozo.
Yeah. I thought
One
Eris
roach.
might have stood a better chance against Zozos than some of the other bots, because when you've been as good for as long as Eris has, you usually spend a lot of time defending cheese. So, but yeah, still looks like he needs a little bit of work there.
Yeah, and I mean, Eris, like, it is really great against, like, 90% of cheeses, but I guess Zozo's bot author has really just picked something that hits hard and early and at the perfect timing, so Zozo
Yeah.
takes the 3-1.
Yeah, amazing work there from Zozo, finishing third. Congratulations. Congratulations to Eris, still a amazing bot there, but unfortunately still vulnerable to a little bit of cheese. But,
Yeah. Zozo's just always killing it, man. Every tournament he's making deep
Yeah.
runs, and this might be his best result yet, 3rd place?
It is his
Or did
best
he make
result,
a finals?
I
I can't
think.
even remember. Yeah.
No, it is definitely his best result, I think. Anyway, just 1 second. I just need to turn the light on in here to make it quite dark.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah,
Next step.
That's better.
Zozo made 1 semifinals in 2024 ProBot Season 1. Or, no, it actually made 3 semifinals.
Yeah.
Because it did 2022-2023 SC2AI tournament. So, yeah, never a 3rd place, though. So,
No.
well done, Zozo.
Congratulations. Yeah, no, brilliant third place match as well. But yeah, so quickly before we get to the finals, I want to give a quick shout out to the ProBots team, who are currently working on a new tournament, and I think they'll announce that as soon as they're ready. They're also helping us with getting the new patch out, so hopefully we can get the new patch done for that pretty soon, and that would be great if we could do that. And also shout out to Laddie again for running all these games. thanks. He's done brilliant work behind the scenes with SC2AI and AI Arena and everything. So, yeah, brilliant. We always welcome that kind of help. Anyway, it's time, guys. Hope we're excited.
Finals.
Here we go. Let's take a look at our competitors. So,
Okay.
first up, it is Negativezero. And Negativezero, I mean, like, took a defeat to Eris in the round robin system, or the Swiss stage, and then come back, taking out Micro Machine and taking out Eris 3-2 in the semi-finals. Oh, what a crazy semi-finals that was. Brilliant. Like, what a bot.
Yeah, he's a killer. I'm only going to be like half casting this finals, and the other half of my brain is going to be looking at Negativezero for weaknesses because that bot is unbeatable on the ladder. I swear to God.
Oh my gosh,
absolutely.
yeah. It really is. Like if you look through its match history, it's just green. Like if you want to find a loss, sometimes you have to go through like 3 pages to find a single lost game.
Yeah. And he will be facing up against Xena, another Cheese Master. Undefeated in series. Actually, the only undefeated bot we have left in the entire tournament. In terms of series, anyway, he's lost 2 games to Zozo in the semi-final. Another crazy semi-final. But yeah, I mean, brilliantly done. First time we've ever had a random bot in the final, and it's great to see it.
Yeah, that's true. Deepest run ever by random bot. That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah.
It is great to have random bots in the bot scene too, because even though it doesn't happen often, or at least not as often as you would think, there is always a potential for like every time you put 2 bots against each other, they play exactly the same and the outcome ends up being the same. But
Yeah.
with random, you got at least some guaranteed like difference between each game when that's like a completely different race.
I do have to point out quite quickly that although we do have the languages set as C++, we default to C++ on AI Arena. They actually both use Go. I do apologize for that. We will correct that next time.
Yeah, I think any bot that's like an exe file or something, you just label as C++ or something along those lines.
Yeah, it's
There's a lot of languages that get default to C++, basically.
yeah. So basically, we're all C++ guys here, so it's all good.
Both written in Go. Is Xena not Haskell?
I don't know actually. I think yes, possibly Xena's Haskell. Yeah.
Yeah. They both are
Yeah,
two of the
you're correct about
both are
that.
cool guy languages, I think. Go is like super fast and brand new, and Haskell's like the,
Yeah.
the original functional language,
Yeah. No, that's good.
Basically the opposite of Python.
Yeah, and I'm just really excited for this match because Negativezero, I think it's safe to say, is the favorite, but as you said, with Xena's variability and randomness, there's definitely a chance that it can win here today.
Yep, absolutely. 1 sec, we just have a slight technical issue.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for Xena because he can bring anything, right? He's got cheese and he's got macro games, but his cheese is not the level of Zozo, and his macro games are not the level of Negativezero. So it's like against some bots, having all that variety can mean like a lot of victories.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't see him beating Negativezero in a macro game. So like, will he have a cheese that can find a weakness? And
yeah, like
Negativezero nuts, I don't
Negativezero
know.
has done a lot of work to be cheese proof too. And it is worth pointing out, like Xena's last update was December, so a few months ago. So like Negativezero could have some of those builds specifically countered by Xena. If you ever watch a Xena game, it is very cool though. At the start of the game, it always prints in chat like its win rates and what build works the most. So we'll maybe get to see that.
Yeah. We are having a slight technical issue, guys. I'm just going to have to restart the stream quickly. Actually, I might go for a quick reboot before the final. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I had that issue too. My bot's an entire mess because when I started on, I was kind of learning to code again. So
All right,
Yeah.
guys.
still working off that messy base.
I am very sorry about that. My PC decided to have a fit because the games were too awesome, apparently. So let's see if that works now. But yeah, we are back.
We appear to be live again. That's good.
Yes, yeah. So
All right. So where do we leave off?
we were just about to start a grand final, and my PC said,
That's right.
"No way!
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
too awesome. You can't do that." So like, yeah, we are back to starting up the game, and
It's good it got that out of the way rather than mid-series.
yes,
Tell you.
yeah, definitely. All right, okay, we are good to go, and I will share my screen with you guys because sharing is caring, as they say. Okay, let's go.
Okay, start the grand finals here. Spawning down in the bottom right, we have the number 1 bot in the ladder. It is the red Protoss Negative0. And spawning up in the top left as the random opponent who spawned a Zerg this time. It is the blue Zerg Xena.
Hey, I was thinking about this the other day because like Xena's 2-base roach timing with the speed mining is ridiculously strong. Because I was thinking about like when someone asked like, oh, which bot, like what level would the bots be on the ladder, that kind of thing, and I'm like, I think Xena's 2-base Zerg probably kill anyone, because like the roach timing with the speed mining is incredibly strong. Then you get the burrow micro in there. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the build Xena's going for today, but it could definitely be effective.
Yeah, it looks like oh, I thought Xena was taking a gas there, but he's actually just protecting his gas guys just from being stolen by the probe. I love that. I don't think any other bot does that, but it's really smart.
That's the sort of thing you got to program against dirty bots. Negative0 already scouted Xena and just straight up said, I am one basing in chat. Said one base robo, I believe, which against the random cheesy bot I think is not a bad decision at all.
Yeah, I wonder if Negative0 believes it says 1 base build. Did he ever spot the hatchery, or did the hatchery go down after he
It
scouted?
did. It did see the hatchery. Like it was a hatch first, so just
So this is like wanting to be aggressive then, not a defensive response, but I'm gonna kill you
yeah,
1 base sort of
potentially.
idea.
I'm not sure if Negative0 like selects builds at all based on win rates or anything like that. If the bot author does, they kind of keep that information hidden, which I think is respectable because it's definitely can be a strength if someone's trying to counter your bot. We do have a robo, 2 adepts on the way for Negative0 as well. The micro on the adepts and their harassment potential is very strong. So we'll see how Xena's going to handle that.
Oh yeah, that is going to be trouble. I forgot how good Negative0's adepts can be.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about getting roach all in if you just kill all the workers before they can build roaches. So we'll see.
Yeah, using those shades immediately when they come out cooldown, allowing you to get across the map as fast as possible.
Yeah, okay, drones are going to pull right into the attempts, which I guess is Xena's way of saying just address your problems, don't ignore them, sends the drones right at them. Now, Queens are doing a good job chasing after the adepts. I think, like, what, 2 drones have died so far, probably? Okay,
Yeah,
2 drones.
drones pulling away really well as well. So it's usually just when the shades finish that the drones are vulnerable to dying.
Yeah, so that's actually quite a solid response. Now, the mining time being lost is ginormous.
Yeah.
Now, that's kind of okay because Negative0 is 1 basing it. As long as these adepts are cleaned up at the end of the day, that should be worth it. And look at that. 1 low HP adept sends all the drones running. Okay, but then they can get back to work. Negative0 only made 2 adepts as well. And this does look like it is going to be that Roach Burrow build from Xena. I'm wondering if that's why Negative0 is electing to go for the 1 base, because like if you try and macro against this 2-base roach timing, like it will probably kill you most of the time. So I do like how the Protoss bot is getting out immortals against roaches, just hanging out on 1 base until it is safe to expand.
Yeah, third immortal on the way. As long as there's an observer in that pile as well, then I think this is going to be perfect to counter a bunch of roaches. But at the same time, it's not like Xena's, droning and taking a third and a fourth base, right? He's powering up himself, and all you gotta do is defend this attack. And Xena's doing the he's building units, and that's what you want to do to defend this attack.
Oh, okay. So you think that it's Xena getting ready for Negativezero's attack? I think it's the other way around. Like Negativezero is getting ready for Xena's roach stuff.
I don't know the intention behind any of this, but I know the fact that Xena's only building units, only building army units, is the correct choice against a one-basing Protoss.
Okay, roaches are trying to pursue Negativezero. They are eating just one shot and burrowing, so no units being killed so far. If Xena can grab this immortal, that would actually be quite huge. However, it pauses and turns around for a second, actually not deciding to pursue.
Yeah. Not taking any losses either, though.
No, I think this is honestly like best case scenario for Xena, because that potentially means Negativezero may attack later on. Whereas, like, I think attacking into Negativezero in this position would be quite risky. So.
Yeah. Looks like Xena's wants to stay on the offense, which, I mean, if you can deny the natural base, is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But the other option would be to take your third, if you know that he's taking his natural. I don't think Xena knows that at the moment, although I can see the ring of overlords on the map, so Xena's creep spread is in full motion here. The only thing better than bot microed creep spread is also like granting vision and pooping creep with the overlords to spread the tumors even further.
Yeah, Xena is not deciding to attack, though. It's kind of just staying present. And look at that. It switches into a macro mode, or at least has some macro thoughts, as it's got 3 spore crawlers on the way, so respecting the need for detection. It doesn't have a lair, but it does throw up a third base. We now have lings being added in, which could be very good against immortals and stalkers, actually. Xena is deciding to push on in, though. This is so many roaches. However, Negativezero has a prism and immortals with incredible micro, so Xena does end up getting repulsed.
Yeah, the slow roaches really hurt there. It would have been nice to have those roach upgrades done in time for that attack. Yeah, I think the other issue in that fight was the observer was actually on the high ground, so I don't even think Xena knew that he was being detected.
Yeah. I am curious about the observer, because like I think the timing for Xena building 3 spores in this game was when Negativezero got an observer. So Negativezero's like, Xena's like, oh, I need detection because there's an invisible unit. That's something that I'm kind of wondering, if that was the trigger for that, just a small consideration. Xena's going to try its luck once again going in with roaches. I'm actually very happy to see it adding in lings instead of just building more roaches, because like Negativezero's composition is great against the roaches, not so much against the lings.
Yeah, a little surprised there with how I know Xena's attack micro is really well developed, so I was a little surprised he didn't pick off that pylon that was just like one shot from dead.
Yeah, not getting much on its
there,
attack, that's for sure. But look at the creep already getting out there.
Yeah.
Hydra Den on the way as well. Xena is just going into full-blown macro against this. Now, like you said, Xena's macro is not as good as Negativezero's, but in this particular case, it could be good if it can hit a timing, something like that, or defend against an attack from Negativezero. Either are ways forward. Just playing like a macro game for the next 20 minutes is not it, but there is potential here.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to attack the third base. I like that. There's not going to be a high ground consideration. There's not going to be a shield battery.
Yeah, lings get right on top of that. Roach is coming on in too. They do get pulled off the Nexus, unfortunately. And then Xena does decide to go home, so it will not get this Nexus.
Yeah. Yeah, the lack of speed on those roaches.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, because every time you poke in and poke out, you're taking shots, right? And it'd be nice to be able to retreat quicker. And it's probably losing one less one more roach every time he retreats than he has to. I
Yeah,
did
that's-
like that I saw the Hydra Den on the way though, so it'd be nice to see a mix
Mhm.
of units here besides just slow roaches. Because that's going to be trouble against, what is that, 5 Immortals are up to now?
5 Immortals, yeah.
With
And they're
Prism
on their way to
Micro?
+1 attack. Okay, we do have Colossus on the way from -0, though. That is something that's definitely scary, too. Because Colossus, well, they counter Hydralisk. So -0 is making a very well-rounded composition. Xena's taking it a step further, adding in Infestors, and now just coming in for that third base. If it can get this third and not just take a terrible fight, it'll be worth it. However, upon scouting the army of -0, it says I gotta retreat, but then it decides to go back in, which is a little interesting, but it is on the way out.
Yeah, very nice holdout of -0. An incredibly good fight. Oh my gosh, and the fight's still going.
Yeah,
This is not
Xena-
good for Xena at all, losing his entire army for nothing.
yeah, this is the thing with trying to fight -0. Like, its army grouping is so darn good. The composition choices are quite good. And then it's just, so how do you approach an army like this from -0? It's difficult to say.
Yeah. So third base is now established for -0. There is sack defense to help defend it. Xena has a 4th, so they're probably an economic lead, but the worker count is actually lower. And he lost his
Yeah.
entire army, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we are seeing a
Xena,
5th
she's
get
in trouble, man.
established. Lots of upgrades just all of a sudden getting thrown up for Xena. Neural Parasite, Hydra Range,
Check out top
Melee
right.
and Carapace. Oh, -0 expands to the top
Yeah.
right. The only
Pretty sure because it's the only one not
non-creep
covered in
base.
creep right now. Yeah.
Meanwhile, it is getting covered in creep, so that's quite hilarious. Now, who knows? Maybe that'll have consequences for -0 if like it splits its army trying to save the 4th. If Xena attacked that, it would be quite nice, because like I think Xena will have a very difficult time winning a head-on fight against -0. It's going to need something else in this game, whether that be sniping a base or two, or just
Yeah.
covering the entire map in creep so -0 can't easily expand again.
And the potential is there to snipe that top right base. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to defend as -0 without
Yeah.
being caught out of position.
-0 does get a little bit supply blocked, waiting on that Nexus to finish up. It'll be out of that supply block once the Nexus is done.
Oh, if -0 is on the offense, this could be trouble. Or is he just trying
yeah.
to clear out another expansion for himself? Because Xena probably needs some more time to build up an army that's capable of defending this.
Yeah, I just don't know what Xena's going to do. Like, I don't know if there's an
Oh,
army
okay, here we
Xena
go.
can make.
Up in the top right, we do
Okay.
have a big attack. If he can take down that Nexus before all those Colossus
Yeah.
arrive.
It's at least getting
No,
some
he's
of
not going to
the
be able to do
probes.
that, but he will get some probes, yeah. And this is a
Hydra's
nice fight
coming on
against the
in.
Zealots as well.
Yeah, the Colossus aren't quite with this army presently. Neural Parasite on an Immortal is very nice. There's actually 2 Immortals get Neural Parasited. Xena continuing to push forward. The Hydras trade out okay, but now the Colossus are starting to get some swipes off, which will complicate things. That Immortal does go down, so that was 2 dead Immortals. The base is still alive for -0 though, and that was quite a good fight for the Protoss, all things considered.
Yeah, it seems like there's some Zerg up at the base there. I'm not sure if it's just creep tumors or what, but is anything? No, it just lost a handful of shields. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
keeping that base alive is... Yeah, that might be that might be the ending of this game. Xena, I think, really had to take out that base to have any chance of coming back. Because
Yeah.
that was another bad fight, unfortunately. Creep tumors are going down now. And, yeah, still a lot of robotics units alive.
Yeah, -0 has a 5th base on the way. We do have an attack down the center, it seems, from Xena. Maybe just skirmishing with a few units. But then,
Yeah, there's been a lot of blinking on the minimap. I'm not sure what that is. If it's just
yeah, Zealot cleaning up some creep.
hallucinated phoenixes maybe flying around or something. Yeah, Zealot's clearing out a base for him there.
Yeah, I mean, Xena's maxed out, so it's free to try again. Looks like it will be on the defensive this time, though. Who knows? Maybe it can get a good concave as -0 does step through these bushes, or at least attempt to. It is a lot of Zerg here, but then Xena kind of fans out and is now the one taking the bad concave. Not even its full army is here for this fight.
Yeah, I wonder if Negativezero is just cutting backwards or whether it's actually able to recognize that that's a choke point and he wants to be on the good end of it.
Yeah, beautiful splits against Disruptors by Xena, so it kind of nullifies those. It does grab a Colossus, and Immortal gets Neural Parasited, so Defender's advantage is pretty strong in this situation.
Yeah, the Neurals have been great, actually. Yeah, so good fight for Xena there. We haven't said that in a little while, so...
Yeah.
You kind of needed that to stay in this game, but yeah, it's scary because Negativezero is what, up to taking his 6th base now? That's
Yeah. Okay, Xena is going to try its luck and then immediately turns around. That is kind of a common theme in Xena matches, which it will decide to take a fight and then it'll see a few more units and then just suddenly retreat.
yeah.
I'm not sure how you ever possibly do anything more efficient than that. Maybe just try and have more detection or something. Or more vision, anyway. Speaking of vision, Negativezero has 4 observers flying around trying to spot these infestors. There is a Viper moving forward for Xena. It does abduct a Colossus, but there's not really too many units to support that abduct to get any kills. And this choke point really is something here on Interloper.
Negativezero solved his problem with Zealots in the choke point by blowing them all up with a Disruptor Ball. But, yeah. This is interesting. I mean, if he did end up losing a Viper, but if he times the Viper and army correctly, he did it once where he pulled a Colossus to its immediate death.
Yeah.
He's got to do a few more of those, though, because that's so many Colossus.
It is scary, too, for Xena there. Yeah, great abduct. Yeah. Nicely done.
Yeah, the last couple fights he kind of got stuck with the Viper on its own, and the army wasn't with it, but this is a little better.
Yeah.
But of course, with that said, that's just, yeah. Oh, here's the second Viper. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, like, the unfortunate thing for Xena right now, though, is that Negativezero has 3,000 resources in the bank. It can afford to lose a few Colossus. Yeah. Zealots are constantly being sent in by Negativezero as well. Xena is going to gobble some of those up. Doing a good job just hanging out in the middle of the map. Might be able to grab that Colossus down south. There is an abduct randomly to the left.
Yeah. Yeah, the abducts in a vacuum are nice out of the Vipers, but there needs to be some sort of, like, have the army with you and pull it towards the army. There you go. There's a double abduct. That should get that one down.
Yeah. Quite nice. Negativezero is poking forward into the choke point, but its retreat micro is so darn good. Like, as soon as Xena tries to pounce on this army, Negativezero will just retreat and take the minimal amount of damage possible. Okay, Xena's gonna go for it, charging forward. Disruptor's getting tossed out. Zealots running forward to help buffer for this Colossus, getting big swipes off. It's a huge fight right now. And it's not looking too good for the Zergs. These Colossus are just melting everything.
Yeah. And it's too bad, because if he could have overwhelmed, a lot of those Colossus are actually stuck in a corner. They can't walk over a cliff, so...
Yeah, a couple good Neural Parasites.
Oh, Immortals versus Colossus. That would be a big deal. It's not targeting the Colossus, though, it's targeting Zealots, so that's too bad.
Yeah, they all got freed. Good targeting from Negativezero, and now Xena is plummeting in supply. And the Protoss is going to take this one after 18 minutes, it looks like. I'm not sure Xena's going to ever be able to come back in a situation like this.
No. Yeah. Yeah, it was looking bad, and now it's looking basically over. But still a nice game out of Xena. Xena was ahead for periods of time that game. Like, basically for the first 10 minutes or so, I would say. Just not able to take a good fight with slow roaches versus... Mass Immortal, so...
Yeah, I think there's situations in which there's... Well, Xena picks its builds off win rates. I know we didn't really take a big look at the win rates in chat at the start of the game, but, like, Xena probably wins sometimes with this strategy against Negativezero. Like, I could see that game, depending on army positioning, potentially, or, like, say, like, it does get that Nexus at the third going the way of Xena. With a bit of variability.
It wouldn't surprise me too if Negativezero fell behind in the early game on purpose, Because he might be thinking, though, it's okay if I go in the mid game behind because I'm -0 and I'm so good in the mid late game.
Exactly, yeah.
So let me just like open one base and make myself cheese proof.
Yeah.
And, you know, if he's not cheesing me, I fall behind, but that's okay because, you know,
Yeah, that was certainly a fun game.
it's so good.
Nice little macro game. By the way, if you're wondering why we had such bad technical issues before the start of this game, that replay was huge. Both bots were going up near 100,000 APM at some point. So we had a nearly 5 megabyte replay, and the system was struggling to load it. So I do apologize for that. Let's see if we load some of the others a bit more successfully. So that will be good. But yes, well done to Negativezero, up 1-0. It's an awesome game. But yeah, I did like some of the abducts, but they weren't always right into the middle of their army. So maybe something to work on for Xena there. Especially the double abducts. They were fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, Xena showed us that it's a formidable macro bot and that it's a great cheeser too. Like, that roach build is really, really strong. Just Negativezero had a great counter to it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get game 2 up and running.
Okay, let's go.
All right, up 1-0, spawning on the right-hand side of the map. It is Negativezero. And spawning as Protoss this time, it is the blue random bot Xena. So this would be impressive if Xena beats Negativezero with his own race.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the build choice in chat for a second there. The odds do not look that great. But yeah, I don't know if that's something we should if I should draw attention to for the hype of the series. But it's kind of hard to overlook something like that when it's a lot of information you get, like what build the bot's doing, that kind of thing. Which is why I am curious about Negativezero. Like, how many builds does it have? Like, how does it choose its strategies? Does it calculate win rates based off previous maps, previous matches, that kind of thing? Those are all choices you can make as a bot author. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't watched any of my games versus Negativezero, but I was looking at like my stats on the ladder, and
Yeah.
I know it's like, okay, I do 9 builds. Most of them lose 100% of the time, but look, this one wins 40%. This one wins 60%. That's not bad. And then I looked like a few weeks later, and like all of them were down to like losing every single time. So I think Negativezero is keeping a close eye on what he loses to on ladder and cleans up those issues very quickly.
Yeah, he really does do a lot of work, like we saw earlier in the tournament. Negativezero against Tom Test. Negativezero, like, they lost a few games on the ladder to Tom Test, and it's like, okay, this could maybe Tom Test could win this, but the bot author had done their work and completely countered it. So yeah, we may be seeing a similar thing here, as Negativezero has a cheese response for Proxy Void Ray in chat. So it's aware that Xena is going for this Proxy Void Ray strategy. Negativezero throws up its own Stargate in response to this, and it's also got 2 Adepts on the way. So if those can get across the map and kill some probes, that would also be very significant in this game.
Yeah, but like, significantly, they can't go kill the pylon because they're just adepts. So
It's true. They could kill the probe that may want to build more batteries or something. There's actually no probe with this, so it's just a single Proxy Void Ray from Xena. There's another probe showing up, so maybe it was hiding or something. And no batteries or anything.
because they're not harassing with these adepts either, so yeah, it's gonna be just a straight up Stargate battle, I guess, between these two.
Yeah, 1 battery building for Xena. It's definitely going to need that, and the positioning of the Stargate from Negativezero, like, this map could be bad as that pylon is exposed. However, stalkers do do some work and distract the Void Ray. The Void Ray is now retreating, but the battery isn't done yet, so the Phoenix will kill off the Void Ray, it looks like, and it does die. Xena has not fired up another Void Ray yet either, which is not what we want to see.
Yeah, that's a big deal. What is Xena spending his money? Okay, there comes the Void right now. Throwing up defenses at home. Okay. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that pylon is vulnerable, so the -0 Stargate can get depowered, for sure. We do have shield batteries now as well. But
Yeah,
it's going to be one Void Ray versus 4 Stalkers, and
it
yeah,
will not be easy for
Yeah.
Xena to win this game, but yeah, that pylon could potentially be the way forward in the game. The Protoss bot notably isn't sending in the Void Ray again. It's just keeping it back. I'm not sure if it's waiting for a second Void Ray or for those batteries to finish. And it does throw
Yeah.
up a fleet beacon, so it's going to go into Tempest behind this. But oh, look at this. Xena is actually trying to break this location. The Void Ray's a little scared too, as it's just being kited by the Phoenix, whereas the Void Rays definitely need to be shooting the Stalkers as batteries are having all their energy be drained.
The Void Rays are literally not fighting.
Yeah,
That's a
what
big deal. There's
shutdown.
3 full shield batteries that could have been made that somewhat even. But
Oh man, yeah, this is a bit underwhelming, unfortunately, as the Phoenix will kill the Void Rays, and -0 just shuts this cheese down super hard.
yeah, I mean, Phoenix aren't even that great versus Void Rays, just because most of their damage is versus light. So
Yeah,
there is potential for that fight to be somewhat even.
yeah, like it would have been interesting to see, like if those Void Rays park on top of the batteries, prismatic alignment against the Stalkers. Maybe Xena could have won that fight, but now it's just getting picked apart by Phoenix on the other side of the map. The Phoenix micro from -0 is very cool to see. I think it's got to be an interesting programming challenge.
Yeah, I mean, last I knew of -0, he never actually picked up units with Phoenix, so he's expanded the abilities of his Phoenix to be more than just anti-air units. That's going to be all true up for this game, I assume. I don't think
Yeah.
Xena's going to be able to hold this. He does have an overcharge in the cannon, which is nice, but
even if it does hold it, it's like, what's it waiting for? Stalker bypasses the cannon, does get assassinated by probes, so Xena not dying just yet.
yeah, overcharge is gone now, so now this cannon is a little bit more vulnerable. But the gateway is actually soaking up a lot of the shots now, so probes running out one at a time to their death, I think, trying to expand. And there we go. Oh, -0 taking the gold base. Something
That
to
is
note.
something that the bot author prioritizes. It's very cool.
I wonder if that's calculated or just hard-coded for this map. Maybe he always prefers gold bases when possible.
Yeah, I didn't even
think
get to use it,
-0
though. Yeah.
uses hard coding for like most of its base selection and building placement and stuff. So
Yeah. Oh, that was a bit of an unfortunate choice of strategy there for Xena. So
Yeah, I mean, it started out okay, but losing that first Void Ray and then obviously the second fight was a mess. But
yeah,
there's potential there,
there's still
especially if you could
yeah.
depower the Stargate of -0, because that pylon was very vulnerable.
yeah. No, it was would have been interesting if you'd have done that. But, all right, so -0 takes a 2-0 lead, and
Just
looking-
checking, is this a BO5 or BO7?
that's a best of 5. So
Okay, right.
he is on the verge of victory. Can he take it
Mhm.
home, or will
Game
Xena?
point.
Yeah, will Xena manage to come back? All right.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. We are go.
Ooh, toss again.
Okay, on the verge of victory here, up 2-0. It is -0 as the red Protoss in the bottom right. And Xena is the blue random spawning as Protoss again, spawning in the top left. So will it be a different PvP build, or are we going to see another attempt to the proxy Void Ray or not? The other problem with that build is one Stargate Void Ray does not spend all your gas on one base. So
No, it doesn't. Which is
you need a second Stargate, or you need something else, or you need to go Tempest or something along those lines.
yeah, and I mean that is something that I really like about Xena. The bot author does add a forge to the build to use those extra minerals, like to build extra batteries or cannons to keep it safe at home. But yeah, it's just not like, so that is a cool thing. But -0 seems to have a pretty good response to this build.
Seems like -0 already identified it as a Sky Toss rush, just based
Yeah,
off the
looks-
forge, maybe, or is he going Sky Toss himself? I'm not sure what that's. Oh, he might be going Sky
Maybe.
Toss himself.
Can we see the chat tag from -0?
F11, yeah. Sky
Okay,
Toss
I-
rush, 53
okay.
seconds. Yeah, I think he might be going Sky Toss rush himself. It's going to be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
Although I also know -0 doesn't like to expand in this matchup at all. He rightfully
Yeah.
thinks the first one to expand in PvP loses, and that's often true.
It is fairly accurate, I think, yeah. And yeah, that's why I'm curious about how -0 like selects its builds. Like it didn't decide to go for a one gate. Like it didn't say Stargate Rush in the last game, but it is this game. So like I'm curious how that decision is reached, whether it's just like hard coded, random, or based off win rates, or what it scouts.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like Xena's taking a very defensive stance. You can kind of punish these Stargate openers if you just straight up ram gateway units down their neck. But okay, an expansion coming too for -0. Interesting.
Yeah, that I mean, -0 is going for one base Stargate, so it has the mineral surplus and decides to throw down the Nexus.
Yeah. So -0 basically ahead in every way. Taking the expansion, Stargate is much faster than Xena's.
Yeah.
Using its scouting to decide that it doesn't need to have any emergency defense is the big advantage over Xena, who just kind of blindly throws up defense.
Yeah, somehow too. Like Xena was going for a Stargate rush, but yeah, it's slower than that of -0's. I'm guessing because of the forge.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the investment
Opening
in
forge before gateway, maybe even cannon before gateway, and I wasn't paying too much attention.
Okay, we do have an Oracle on the way for Xena. There is harassment potential with that.
Oh, okay, that'll be interesting. We've seen some bots get better with oracles, Sharkbot, for instance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that really comes to mind.
-0 as well. Let's see what Xena's oracle looks like. Will it be the oracles we've seen of the past, or will it be something nice now?
Yeah, that's just I think it'll probably be oracles from the past based off when Xena was last updated. But all right, Tempest on the way, being chrono boosted out. Xena was saving its chrono for that.
Yeah, oracle movement must be, I would imagine, difficult to program. Because any other unit, no matter where you click them, they just go there. But with oracles, like, you have two options. You can either do a direct 180. It can completely turn around like 180 degrees. Other than that, all it can do is slow turns. So
Yeah.
especially as bots like to like give a moving command like literally every single game frame. it might not be as swooping in the motion as it should be. Okay, so one Tempest and an Oracle, I guess, is probably gonna act as a spotter. Throw down
Yeah.
Revelation. It allows the Tempest to shoot from max range, and that could be a big deal in Tempest versus Tempest because anti-air range Tempest shoot 15. So if one Tempest is revealed on one side and not on the other, then that's going to be a big advantage in fighting back and forth.
Vision is everything in Tempest versus Tempest fights. As it rolls on up. And Xena eats 2 Tempest shots and quickly nopes on out of there.
Which isn't too bad. I mean, like, you don't lose any hull damage from 2 shots, or very little hull damage. But it is down 2 bases to 1, so that's a problem.
Yeah. And I don't think Xena ever adds on a second Stargate either when doing this build, I want to say. So, like, whereas
Yeah.
Negative-Zero, I think, will have 2 at some point. So as
And I
far as
don't
pure
mind
numbers
that when you win Tempest, because you can almost spend through all your gas with Tempest on one
Yeah.
base. With Void
Okay,
Rays, it was
this is
pretty
good
Yeah, that was a nice shot.
for Xena, as it almost gets a Tempest of Negative-Zero. It's 2v3 right now, and Xena turns around.
Yeah, doesn't get off that last shot, which would have been nice to turn into a do a 2v2.
Yeah, definitely.
But unfortunately, a third base up for Negative-Zero now, and we do have Negative-Zero building 2 Tempests at a time. So it's only going to be getting worse.
Yeah, it's
Xena
23
takes-
to 50 workers.
On this side of the map, though, it's a little bit more even.
Injured Tempest pulling back. Stalker's on the ground, drawing some of Xena's fire and attention. One Stalker does go down. Xena has to pull back to its battery on the high ground to get those shields recharged, which again, Negative-Zero can't do while it's being aggressive. Battery on the low ground finishes for Xena, that's important. However, the first Tempest does perish. And Xena isn't really using the Oracle for Revelation at all.
No. But we do have a battery and a battery overcharge here. And those Stalkers were giving vision for Negative-Zero, a vision advantage, and now the Stalkers are gone. So Xena was able to pick off a couple Tempests very quickly of Negative-Zeros. So fight-wise, it's actually going nice for Xena, but I don't know how he's going to overcome that economy. He does have a second base of his own.
Yeah. It's now
Twilight, so yeah. Transitioning out a little bit, I guess, with the Twilight there.
Yeah, it's triple Tempest production now for Negative-Zero. Got some very, very injured Tempest. So, like, there's big potential for it to lose 1 or 2 here. But again, how many Tempest is it to one-shot another Tempest? Like 5 or something?
I honestly have no idea.
I
Tempests don't have as
wanna
much
say
hit points
5.
as they used to. Now that they're less supplied, but 5 sounds about right.
Okay, the natural is being pushed on in. Xena trying to make a stand to force Negative-Zero back. Negative-Zero, though, its retreat micro is so darn good. Like, it does not give Xena any opportunity to really fire up on its Tempest.
Yeah, I think that might have been a response to seeing the overcharged battery, which is nice. It's nice to see a bot actually respecting the battery overcharge.
Oh yeah, that's why if we ever get an update, it's gonna be interesting to see how many bots break without battery overcharge, because a lot of bots do actually rely on that fairly heavily.
So this is where the fight will go well for Xena, because he's going to have the vision advantage of his structures spotting Negative-Zero's Tempest. And then Negative-Zero might end up shooting structures quite a bit, like shooting the battery or shooting the Nexus.
Another Tempest dies. Okay. That Negative-Zero does lose 1 Tempest, however it's now building more. It's also building a Phoenix, weirdly enough.
Phoenix are actually great versus Tempest. They don't take any bonus damage, and he can be a spotter for you.
Yeah, Xena's actually picked off a fair few Tempest of Negative-Zero for the past minute or so, but it's just building 1 Tempest at a time versus 2 to 3 for Negative-Zero.
And Negative-Zero is putting a lot of damage on things that aren't Tempests. So battery went down, probes are going down, you know. Maybe he's losing the Tempest battle a little bit, but he's getting a lot of reciprocal damage in
There's
other
also
ways.
+2 attack as well. Like, it's just Xena's dead, unfortunately.
It's literally 1 base on 5 right now. Yeah, I think we got our first champion here.
Really well done by Negative-Zero, just being an incredibly up-to-date and dominating champion.
Yeah, definitely
last time.
great win there for Negative-Zero. We'll just let it play out because has to do his final the final battle. But yeah, and it's redemption for Negative-Zero as well. The last tournament that he was in, he got cheesed out by Eris in the final.
Okay.
So it is his first SC2AI tournament win as well.
Wow. Really, really well done.
Yep.
Negative-Zero, like it. I don't know if it's ever been this good. It's like it doesn't lose very often on the ladder, and with defeating Eris, it kind of defeated its nemesis, I guess. So
it's
yeah, that was a great series. I'm glad they got to run into each other.
Yeah,
Negative-Zero and Eris.
yeah,
that's a series everyone wants to see.
What a great series it was.
Yeah, and congrats to Xena too. I think the second place is probably his best result, so or her best result, I should say.
Yeah, like Xena is an incredibly good bot, and like the build variety and everything is arguably what got it to the finals.
Yeah.
So it just unfortunately doesn't work as well against the bot with as much homework done like Negative-Zero to counter all those cheeses.
Yep, and there we go. Negative-Zero.
Negative-Zero was even nice enough to get the versus structure upgrade for closing up the match. Just to kill off the structures faster at the end.
And well done to Mind Me. Like I say, a little bit of redemption for our wasn't our last tournament. I think it was the last but one. And Mind Me has had some time off the ladder and come back a lot stronger. So
yeah, that was a tough one for Mind Me to handle. He was like working so hard to get his bot strong enough to beat Eris, and then he finally beat Eris, and then Eris is like, "Oh, by the way, I can cheese you too." Finally got to his level in macro game, and then Eris just cheesed him to death.
Yeah, that was a very tough one to take there. You put your camera off, by the way, so.
Oh, yeah, I'll bring it back. Yeah, I noticed the stream's
yeah. Oh, it's all good.
Slow, so let's turn that off.
Yeah, that does help occasionally. But yeah, so let's just take a look at our final bracket if we can. One sec. I did have this set up here once.
Maybe you rebooted and lost
then I had to reboot and then yeah. Alright, that's good.
Yeah, so Negative-Zero number 1, Xena number 2, and then it'll be Eris number 3. No, Zozo number 3.
No, Zozo number 3, and then Eris.
Yeah.
Alright, let's take a look at that. Yeah, there we
Eris
go.
out of the podium. Wow.
Yeah. Actually, that's entirely wrong.
I was thinking it might be I don't know if there's ever going to be a tournament in the future.
Even you got it wrong.
Yeah.
Both of us assuming that Eris is going to win.
Yeah, I put that wrong on the thing. One sec, I'm fixing that right now. We are doing it live, everyone. It's fun.
Yeah, thanks for hosting the stream, Crypt. I know it's not easy to do everything on the fly. So.
No, it's great. It's good fun, and it's always great to see all the effort that all the bot makers have put in. So there we have corrected. Negative-Zero takes the win. Xena will come in second. Zozo will come third, and Eris in fourth. But yeah, we've had a really great tournament, and like even the bots that didn't quite make it all the way through, we've had some fun bots. Shout out especially to like Sharkbot and Zozo. That series was amazing. And yeah,
we had a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Eris versus Negative-Zero lived up to expectations.
Oh, what a series!
I don't recall the first week, but I remember the first week being wild.
Yeah,
it was like great games and like unexpected like upsets. We had a lot of good matches in this tournament.
Yeah,
we can't forget the debut of Tom Test too, making a pretty good run for its first tournament.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. Shout out to Tom Test. That was some amazing games there. It's just like the moment I saw the third game with Xena, and Xena had spawned Zerg again, and I'm like, oh no, that
Yeah, that
moment.
was heartbreaking.
Oh god. But yeah, no, a very well-made bot there, and absolutely we'll be seeing Tom again in the future. And yeah, so and all the way back to our like uh, earlier games. Yeah, we had some fun ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
Cannon
thanks to
Dana.
everyone for tuning
Well,
in to watch as well.
yeah. Yeah, shout out to the series with Tom Test against Canonana as well, which was a fun one in the earlier rounds.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Uh,
It looked like Kenny Nana had the defense like locked up. Then Tom's like, nope, wave
nope,
two.
coming back at you.
Yeah, that's
That's
great.
good. Yeah. All right, so that's all we have time for. Thank you very much for all the bot authors that have submitted bots. There have been some really fun games. For all those that did make prizes, I will be in contact with you probably tomorrow, and we will give you all those prizes. Thanks once again to Ketrock and Laughing Games for some excellent commentary through the entire tournament. It's been great having you guys. So,
Thank you. Yeah, it was great to be here. First tournament from start to finish, so it was really fun to watch too.
Well, we'll be having another one soon, and keep your eyes out for the ProBots tournaments which are coming up, and obviously there's all the ProBots team.
Yes, that's the Versus AI channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you guys want to head over there, hit a follow, because that
absolutely.
tournament will probably be coming out within a month or so.
Yeah, that'd be great. And other than that, thank you everyone for tuning in for the entire tournament. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll be seeing you in the next one.